Welcome, sports fans, to Sports and More with Michelle Garmon, here to preview Friday's game, Tipton against Frankton. On Tuesday, I caught up with Aaron Tolle while Michelle was taking in some tennis and some soccer and some volleyball. So my conversation with Coach Tolle is coming up. And also, after Michelle and I talked on Tuesday, I caught up with Frankton head coach Marty Wells at his office at Frankton High School. So we have that coming up after Coach Tolle. Before we get to that, Michelle, your quick thoughts on Tipton-Frankton on Friday night.
Yeah, I actually got to catch up with Coach Tolle during halftime of the boys' soccer game. So my thoughts are, I think that I'm excited for it. I like Marty. I like both coaches. And, Aaron and I talked about, even though Tipton's not playing Elwood this year, and, it's always a special rivalry for the Tolle family for obvious reasons. If you're new listeners, the obvious reasons are Mike Tolle is an Elwood native, coached freshman football. He applied for the head coaching job when it came up, and they gave it to somebody else. Mike Tolle ended up at Tipton, much to the Blue Devil fans' delight and the Panthers fans' chagrin. And so that has always been a big rivalry since Mike got. In fact, when Mike got there, Elwood had a really predominant lead on the series, and now in his years, followed by Aaron's years, that's flipped, and now Tipton's got a really good lead in the series. I asked Aaron, I said, the nice thing is, isn't it, because Marty, you guys face each other across football fields and everything as assistants, as head coaches.
Because, of course, Marty Wells has coached every team in Indiana except for Tipton.
Yeah, he was an assistant at Elwood, and then he was the head coach at Elwood, and then he was the head coach at Madison Grant. I can't remember if Tipton played. They used to play Madison Grant when they were in the conference. Then they opened the season with them, but I don't think they did during Marty's tenure at Madison Grant. I think that ended, and that's what Aaron. He's excited because he said he and Marty had talked, and for 2.5 hours on Friday night, they will be going at each other hard and be adversaries. But then the other 364 days of the year, they're really good coaching friends. I mean, they're really good friends and coaching friends. There's a lot of mutual respect between the two. And that's always what makes it fun, because they both are very respectful of the other in post-game interview and even on the field. I mean, they just really, you can tell they like each other. There's a lot of respect. So that's going to be fun. I look forward to it because I think both teams have some really good, and there's some youth on both teams that I'm looking forward to seeing, especially for Frankton. I want to see how big a step up they made, because I saw them 3 times last year. I saw them week 1, obviously. Then I saw them sometime during the middle of the season. And then I saw them when Elwood beat them there at the end of the season. And you could see improvement in some of the areas. They just dealt with so many injuries last year. So I'm anxious to see how the summer went for Marty. I know Aaron loved his summer participation, and that's one reason I think I'm really high on the Blue Devils. So for back-to-back years, they've had really good summer turnouts, and I thought, they were better than their record last year. They played a big schedule, and, they could easily end up finishing the regular season at 5-4, but it will be a 5-4 probably better than a lot of 2A teams that would be 5-4 just because of who they're playing.
Please stay tuned for Tipton head coach Aaron Tolle and Frankton head coach Marty Wells. Well, Coach, we head into year number 22, and one of the first years you've ever not had a jamboree or a scrimmage to be able to kind of evaluate your team. I know there have been a few, but not very many. So where's your team at this point, and did that cost you anything in your estimation?
It does make it more difficult. I think it's the first time in 22 years we haven't had a jamboree or a scrimmage, and we're kind of going into game 1 blind to an extent. I will say I would have hated to have done this 15 years ago. What we do in the summer now gives us a glimpse. I think we were on the field with 15 or 16 different teams somehow, some way this summer, 7-on-7, 11-on-11, somehow, some way. But that's just a glimpse. That's not usually not tackling, going to the ground. You're not playing special teams. You're not doing all of those things. But I think we have a pretty good idea of who we want on the field and what we're capable of doing. But it is kind of scary when, again, you are going in blind and playing a good Frankton team that looks like to me is pretty senior laden. Has a lot of older kids, a lot of returning guys from last year, and you just haven't seen. I mean, we're basing pretty much everything on our game one of last year. Well, a lot has happened in the last 12 months, both here and there. So, I think we've got to do what we want to do and have the ability to adapt or make changes, maybe more so than anything else, because we might see things that we haven't seen or don't expect.
Helps a little that Frankton didn't have a scrimmage as well.
Yes.
And it also helps a little that you're familiar with Marty Wells and what he likes to do.
Yes. But he's just as familiar with us as I am with him, though. So it's a great relationship. I've always thought the world of Marty, and we've had lots of battles, whether we were assistant coaches or we were head coaches, and we've gone at it on a Friday night numerous times. But
well, he's coached every school but Tipton, right?
Right, and it is nice because, I mean, you go to war, and then before and after the game, you have great conversations, and it's kind of the way it ought to be. Honestly, we're all in this profession for the same reason, and he wants to beat me, and I want to beat him, and then when it's over, said and done with, we're friends for the next 364 days.
It's a nice opponent geographically. It's now pretty similar size school, and it's pretty amazing. It's only the 8th time the two schools have ever played.
It is. I mean, I think we play Frankton, and I know we play in basketball. A lot of times we're in the same sectional in basketball. We play them in baseball. We probably play them in just about every other sport somehow, some way. So it does make sense. It's a natural rivalry. We're within 30 minutes of each other. We're the same size as school. It totally makes sense. And it's kind of nice not to have to travel an hour or an hour and a half to play a football game, which we tend to do sometimes in our conference. But no, it's great. And it is amazing that we've only played a handful of times, more so recently than even before. I think we've probably played four of the 8 in the last 6 years, something like that. So before the last half dozen years, it was pretty scarce, maybe a sectional game here or a sectional game there. But it's a natural rivalry. Coaching staffs both know each other, think the world of each other, and our kids obviously know each other because they play each other in every other sport. So totally makes sense.
By the way, check out our history of the Tipton-Frankton series coming up. Actually, it's already been released. Go check that out, please. And there were a couple of down years here for Frankton, but it seems like this is the team that's on the way up for them.
I think the last half of their season last year, they found some things and started playing a lot better. They had a good Western team on the ropes in the sectional last year. And
with a bunch of young kids.
And they have a lot of those kids back. So it's going to be a war Friday. We're happy where we are. We think we have a lot of kids back. We've got 4 all-conference kids back, 12, 13, 14 starters, however you want to look at it. So we have some experience back also, but they're very senior laden, and that's worrisome to me. Seniors play different than anybody else. So
that's right.
We're going to have to match their intensity early on. We need a great start, but I fully anticipate it being a much better game than last year for sure.
Yeah, seniors are essentially adults now.
Yeah.
So that's a big year between 17 and 18.
I mean, they see the light at the end of the tunnel, and then they tend to play at a different level than sophomores and juniors do. So I think that's probably the key to the game. We have to match their intensity, their senior intensity, and then it boils down to can't turn the ball over, can't have a bunch of penalties, can't make a bunch of silly mistakes in the first game, which tend to happen. So silly things happen in the first game. So we've got to be wary of that and try to take care of what we can take care of. And again, I think it's going to be a great ball game.
And Michelle talked to you for our preseason report on your team, preseason preview. So I don't want to go too much into your team, but you said you like where you are. What kind of team can this be as you look toward week 1? Are we talking about a championship level team?
Depends on what you talk championship.
Sectional conference.
Conference is very, very tough. And, I told my coaches we're not allowed to say this because just about every Friday we play schools that are bigger than us. I think we are the lone 2A school in our conference. Everybody else, minus LCC, which they don't count because they're a private school.
Different, yeah.
Everybody else is a 3 or 4A. So we've tried to eliminate that, but we know that we are going to play excellent competition every single Friday. And if we can stay healthy and playing 3As and 4As, primarily 3As, but there's a 4A in there every single Friday, that should set us up for a 2A tournament. Now, you got to stay healthy during the process. That's what the Hoosier Conference does. It prepares you for a tournament run. I think our sectional's very tough, very competitive. Eastern's a good team. Oak Hill's a good team. Cass is a good team. We feel like we're a good team, but we feel like with a good regular season, we can certainly be in the conversation and compete for that sectional title, which is our goal every year.
In week 1, playing a game against a like team, a game you're not sure you're going to win, a game you're not sure you're going to lose, it's a good way to start a season.
It is. Gets your intensity up, and the team that executes the best is going to win the game. So we're going to have to, again, eliminate mistakes, no penalties, no turnovers, and hopefully things fall our way.
Thanks, Coach. Always good to see you.
Absolutely.
Please stay tuned for Frankton head coach Marty Wells, and please check out our Elwood Sports and Tipton Sports History podcasts that are now out and have episodes and coming soon, Frankton Sports History. All right, here with Frankton head coach Marty Wells. Second season here at Frankton. Before we talk about Tipton, Coach, how are you feeling about your team at this point?
We had a good summer. We scrimmaged 2 different times. So we played 5 or 6 different schools. So we got some new kids playing that haven't been out in the past. So this summer was good for them. This past week wasn't good. Monday was the only day last week we practiced the whole time. There was 2 other days we were out there for less than 45 minutes, and here come the thunder and the lightning, and we couldn't do anything. So we come inside and wait it out. And by the time you wait it out, practice slot time's over, and can't keep us. So one day we watched some film. So we tried to do the best we could with it. And then we were shut down for 2 days. We couldn't do anything at all. That wasn't fun, but other than that, we had a pretty good summer.
And missing the scrimmage doesn't help either.
No, especially we had some pretty good battles going on for about 4 or 5 different starting spots. So obviously we wanted to see some kids on film, and didn't help it happen. But if there's a silver lining in that, Tipton lost their scrimmage as well. So we're both going into it. I told Michelle earlier, I think this, as long as I can remember, which sometimes is not very far long ago, but we're basically going in this blind. I can never remember having to do that before. We're doing the scrimmage and jamborees for as long as I can remember. I guess it's good that we're going to be playing a comfortable face, and Coach Tolle, I kind of know what he's about. He knows what I'm about. So I think from that standpoint, it should be okay. But, it's really frustrating not be able to have a scrimmage under your belt.
Yeah. What do you think the strength of this team is going to be?
Well, we got a lot of kids that got some experience last year. Quarterback being one of them. He got thrown to the fire as a freshman. And he's put on 20 pounds, and he's probably the 4th or 5th strongest kid on our team. Our running back, Wax, is back. He's put on about 20 pounds. Friday night, we're going to start 5 senior offensive linemen. Plus, we got 2 of our two of our top receivers back from last year, and Barker and Bennett. Bennett's 6'7", 220. So hopefully the strength is going to be we got some experience. We got a lot of kids that played a lot of snaps, and that's going to carry over for us.
And it starts week 1 against a really good team, a really good program, and what looks like a really good offense. So what do you have defensively for them?
Well, we'll just do what we do, and, hopefully that's enough. Got the coach's kid at quarterback. He's going to be a 3-year starter. The number 8, the receiver, is lightning fast and torched us last year for about 180 yards, I think. So most of that, or some of that, I should say, was on our end because we blew some coverages. But, he's a track kid, so he's going to be very quick. We've got a couple kids in secondary that are track kids as well. So hopefully he doesn't go off on us and toast us like that. And and they've always had a good offensive line, and that's going to continue. They've got some pretty good size from what Aaron sent us in his roster. So for us, we've got 2 starters back on the defensive line, plus we moved Bennett to a defensive end, so now we're going to have a 6'7" kid coming off the edge. And Cress is back at middle linebacker. We've moved Wax from an outside backer to an inside backer. And we've got some new faces at safety. So we got 3 kids vying for the free safety spot, and all 3 of them will be new people in that position.
Couple of really proud programs that expect to win, that have gone through some years where not been great. It seems like the expectation from Michelle and myself and the communities is that both teams seem to be on the rise. Is that how you feel about it going into this?
We're going to be better, but we're going to have to be, because we weren't very good last year. And then throw the injuries on top of that. So, I don't know if we're going to get more wins or not than what we did, but I know we're going to be a hell of a lot more competitive than what we've been.
And Tipton, obviously a program you respect, having been at Elwood, Madison Grant even before.
Yeah. They've had one name since 81 or 82 running the show. So
that's right.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good program. So what do you hope to accomplish other than getting a win, obviously, on Friday night? What are you hoping to see from your team more than anything else?
The biggest thing is we got to be able to compete. Defensively, we got to get better than what we were. We got to create some turnovers. Offensively, we got to protect the ball and see what happens. I think we're going to be offensively. We could be pretty good. We could be pretty balanced. We showed that kind of last year at the end. Each week we got better and better each week, which is what you want from the coaching standpoint. Defensively, hopefully we got a little more team speed, I think, so we could be able to run to the ball. And when you're playing some of the people we're going to play, you're going to have to run to the ball, because we're going to play some teams that got some quickness and speed and athletes, and Tipton's obviously going to be one of them.
And do you think last year's playoff run, the kind of success that you had, does that help anything that you give a little confidence going into the summer?
Yeah, I think that was a huge contributor to us going into the summer. I mean, the kids, we gave them the winter off. We didn't really take advantage of the limited contact stuff you can do in the winter and the spring. We had so many kids in other sports. We didn't really do a whole lot in the spring either, so we kind of waited till the summer. The kids were pretty excited and fired up about it. So I think we're riding the coattails of that first win. It was the first 2016 or 17 is the last time we'd won a playoff game. And then we gave one away against Western. We had an undefeated team on the ropes and let them hang around. And then we couldn't put the nail in the coffin. And so I think that burning desire a little bit kind of fed some of those kids in the off season. And, we're 2 days away from finding out how much burning desire we got.
Coach, thanks so much, and good luck on Friday, and we look forward to working with you the rest of the year.
Appreciate it.
Thanks so much to Coach Tolle and Coach Wells. Thanks so much to Michelle. So much more coming up on Sports and Beyond with Michelle Garmon here on the Central Indiana Sports Report. Sports and Beyond with Michelle Garmon is a product of ITG Media. And I love Susie.